Malawi. Okay, so I said I'm the Model United Ambassador for Malawi. So I'll give a chance to my fellow ambassadors in different countries to introduce themselves.
Hi guys. Hello.
Hello. So
We can.
please, the ambassadors, kindly introduce yourself really quick. We have a short time to do that.
Okay, if you're not
you can
speaking,
go to the next item.
Yeah, and if you're not speaking, you can please mute your mics, mute yourself. All right, so because we do not have a lot of time right now, everybody else can introduce themselves in the chat box. So go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat box. Tell us where you're coming from in the chat box. All right.
Oh, I see here that people can't hear.
Oh, am I still muted?
I don't know. I see. Do you guys hear us? Do you guys hear?
Yeah, I
can hear.
I hear you loud.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So today we welcome everybody for joining our team. Congratulations for making it. And once again, welcome. Feel free to share your ideas. Feel free to share your ideas and everything. So Model United Nations is a free space where everybody gets to share their ideas, which is why it is being introduced in our countries. So I believe in Africa, it's not done. So we're the first cohort. All right, so because we do not have a lot of time, I am going to ask the president to come in and give us a brief about what Model United Nations is all about. Yeah. Enoch?
Thank you. Give me a minute. I'm gonna share here. Yeah. Let's give me a second. Someone can mute, please. Give me a minute. If you're not speaking, you can mute yourself. I'm gonna share here. I'm looking for working. Just give me a minute. I think this is it. So please mute yourself if you can. right? Okay, cool. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? I welcome you to our session. And if it's your first time, if you don't know people here, introduce yourself in the chat box. Say hello. My name is Enoch. Maybe I'm from Eswatini or Lesotho, Zimbabwe. So you get to know each other. Perhaps you guys could share even in school. So make sure you link in the chat and everyone knows each other very well. So the idea of networking is very key here too. So I'll go quick. Before we dive into Model United Nations, you may be wondering about what's behind MUN, as we should abbreviate. What's the goal? So the question of MUN was inspired by the African Rebirth. So the organization organizing this is African Rebirth. And our mission, as you could see, is to defy mediocrity, inspire and empower young African leaders who seek peace, unity, and shared prosperity. Our mission, our vision is a prosperous and united Africa. And I think it is a testament to you that all of you are from different African countries, specifically in the southern region. So that's very, very key. So in the pursuit of that vision, therefore, we try to reach out to young people. So our target is empowering young African leaders, and the goal is really to elevate their confidence, elevate their skill set, scaling up their skills, potentials, and giving them a platform to be nurtured into the greatness that we want to see all of us on the continent. So everyone here, I think you are groomed to a higher purpose, but also you have that kind of noble calling in international affairs, in diplomacy, and solving real world challenges. So that's the idea of African Rebirth. So the organization is called the African Rebirth. So I want to tell you more about that. So what we do, where do we drive this mission? Or where do we, the philosophy behind? So we looked at in the history of mankind, no society has progressed the highest form of development, civilization without peace and shared prosperity. Tell me an empire. You guys come from the southern region. I think the greatest empire, the Zulu Empire. So the Zulu Empire at the zenith of its power had all this. People were united. And how it fell is there was disintegration, weakens the system inside. So this is a true testament to Africa that unless we unite, not uniting as casual walk or casual talk, going to the bar, going to the swimming pool, or going to the beach, but uniting on a purpose to alleviate our continent to greater heights. So that's the idea. So we need to cultivate that in the minds of young people, because you are the hope, you're the future of Africa. So, and you're the present. So whatever you do here affects the future and affects the present. So therefore, the African Rebirth, we aim to build and inspire young African leaders with a mindset and the perception of peace unity. So despite the rapid war, ethnic divisions that, have tainted our continent, has been a bad image, but also tainted our development as a people, we still have the mandate to wake up and say, hey, enough is enough. And we gear to that higher purpose that we want really young people to click. When you're clicking, searching, you need to click in, to download that mindset into our minds, hearts, and what we do. So best things we do. Leadership. We are big on leadership. And throughout this program, you're going to see that we have a high sense of leadership emphasis because I strongly believe that leadership is the missing point. So in a society or in a family. When you say family is struggling, it could be a lack of leadership. A nation, a continent, there's a crisis for leadership. And across the globe, there's a crisis for leadership. So where do we start darling leaders that are going to impact the continent to a higher purpose? This is the way to go. And our focus is really building leaders, the building leaders who have a mission to transform their societies, not just building leaders for the sake of leadership, or for the sake of positions, for the sake of like here you made a name, you're prime minister, so what? So we want leaders who impact their societies, leaders who think generational, not tactical, leaders that are strategic, not tactical, leaders who are thinking generations to come, not just mere theater and events. So that's the aim. And the second thing, diplomacy. Diplomacy, so you learn that we use diplomacy in everyday lives. What's diplomacy? Diplomacy, the art, relation building, communication, building relationship, team building, but putting across your message through persuasion, identifying yourself as a talent, having that ability to identify yourself as a talent that can affect people's lives. That's diplomacy. So dealing with, and there's a diplomacy in everyday life when you're searching for a job, when you're on an interview, when you're convincing people to come to your way and they help you achieve certain purpose. That's all the work. So how do we do that? And that's where Model United Nations comes in. And that's what our sole aim is here tonight. So entrepreneurship, business. There is no society that grows without business booming. You show me a poor society, you can also judge its entrepreneurial spirit. When you see many NGOs, instead of industries, you can see the amount of development that exists in that place. So those are major three things, and definitely peace building. But if you do all this, peace building is the result end, is like the end product of all this. So how do we harness that? And that's the main focus on why the vision behind African Rebirth. That's what we want to do. And that's why you come in. So with that few snapshot of what African Rebirth is and what our continent is doing and what we can do to achieve that, I want to take you to what the main point of our program. And I'll run a few slides and we can read ourselves what really in detail of this. So, and after that, we run into the nitty-gritty of the program, how it will be running. So, second thing I want to share with you, what is MUN. I'll share a bit of my story, and I will share a bit. Give me a sec. I'll look for it. Hey, finally we're here. So that's a guide from one of the best MUN organizational clubs. Now, this is like chapter 4. what MUN is. And you might see here that it is between the ages of 11 to 18. And this is like a novice. Novice means you're a beginner, essentially. Don't stress your mind over it. So this is like a beginner. You guys have a bit of cold. You excuse my voice if it's not really sharp. So this is like a novice training. Now, in a world, in other parts of the world, like here in North America, Europe, those countries, people start MUN as early as 11, 12. You can imagine, and 8 to 18. That's high school mainly. So there is also a university student, MUN. But now you may be wondering, why are we going to teach you something that is taught in high school and yet we are university students? No, it's the same thing. It's just the scale of it. It's the same things, the same concept. It's the same, like it's the difference is reasoning, because if you're 25 or 20, you cannot reason like a person of 12 years. If you are confessed with the same problem, you have more a better developed, convincing, and persuasive way of telling the point. So that's the difference. So clear. I want to clear that out of your mind, that this is the same thing, whether you're at university, whether you're in high school. Yeah. So what's an MUN? Like you hear the word Model United Nations. Anyone done modeling? Hey, ladies, anyone has done modeling before? You just say, if you participated in a beauty contest in your country, have you done any modeling? Anyone? Guys, don't be shy. You can say it in the chat box or wherever. But anyway, modeling means you are imitating something. You are modeling it. So the word you hear, like Model United Nations, in a short word is you are practicing what United Nations conferences or diplomatic channels talk about, or how they conduct their meetings. So that's what I call modeling. So you are modeling, meaning you are in that position. You are taking it to be, what do you say? You're becoming it. You're doing it. So how many countries exist in the world? 195? Am I correct? 195? Something like that? So if there are 195 and these small islands make it 200, each country at the United Nations has a representative. It's called a delegate. So you are representing your country, and whatever thing they're discussing at the United Nations, you are representing your country's interests, your country's policies. You're the face, ear, and the mouth of your country. So the way people represent anyone, I think maybe you have seen on TV, on YouTube, or other ways, anyone seen UN sessions, how they go about. That's how the MUN is practiced, even in high school, even with university students. So the basic is you are modeling, you are becoming that delegate that represent his or her own country. Let's say you're from Lesotho. What is Lesotho best known for? Anyone from Lesotho, please? Maybe people are just muted. Anyone from Lesotho? Okay. So let's say from Lesotho, and you're in a committee of this UN Security Council. What is Lesotho's policy on security, global security, international security? So you are bringing Lesotho's voice to add a voice to other countries to get that resolution passed. to get that decision passed. Now, there are different terminologies that are used in the MU, like a resolution. A resolution is just a solution. You are resolving, like, let's resolve this issue. You are looking for a solution. So if you're talking about climate change, what is the way forward? What are the practical ways you are going to solve climate change? That's a resolution. You always hear, from today onwards, you always hear delegate. What's a delegate? A delegate is a representation of a country. You can represent your organization in certain meetings. You're still a delegate. You see here Secretary General, Chairman, or something like that, like a person. Now in the MUN, United Nations, the highest position is the Secretary General. It's the boss of the UN. So we can always have the Secretary General, moderating meetings, committees responsible for the whole, committees and everything. So it's very, very key that you note that. So don't be intimidated by these big words. You get to learn them and you'll be very good. But the MUN is a very high diplomatic academic simulation or debate that teaches people who are really focused and they have a passion in international affairs, global diplomacy, and also if you align your purpose, your future purpose in public life. Maybe you want to be a president, maybe you want to be a prime minister, you want to be a member of parliament, and on other platforms like a public official. So that's the best way where you learn the best skills people learn. Now these are basic things, and we will share this document to you. You have to read it for yourself. But I want to touch here. Is everyone muted, by the way? Can people participate? Are you muted, guys? Just show off hands and maybe, or a chat box. Are you muted? Just let me know. I would love people to say something. All right. Please go ahead. Give me a second. Yeah, so you can say something clever. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect. So,
Hello.
yes, give me a second. Give me a second. You give me a second. So I want us to have a bit of engagement here. So please mute. Galaxy Hotel, mute. Just mute if you want to speak gently, because we are in diplomatic channels right now. We don't just jump in. You just raise your hand. I'll say, or interrupt him and say, excuse me, then you go ahead. So this is a very important thing. How many of you know your country's population, culture, like here, physical geography, culture, politics and government, economy? How many people know? Just being honest, here we are not judging you, we are not giving marks. Please, I know you guys are students, but we are not giving marks like this is excellent one. But just be honest. How many of you know what is your country's domestic product? That's a GDP. Show of hands. Come on. Yes, Patience. That's very good. Yes, Michelle. Yes, Joel. Absalom. Matthews. Awesome. That's very good. I'm impressed. Very good. Very good. I'm impressed. Okay. Lower your hands right now. I see majority of you guys know. That's very encouraging. So what of course your currency, you know it, you get money every day. That's a given. But who are your country's allies and enemies? Do you know? Anyone? Who are their country's allies? You know your country's allies and enemies. Of course, Zimbabwe will point to the West. That's a given. Yeah. Anyone? You know your country's allies and enemies. Show of hands. Show of hands. Show of hands. No one knows their country's enemies and nothing. Yes, Joel. Are these the former hands, or it was like you guys? These are new hands. Okay, wherever. Very good. You can lower your hands right now. You can lower your hands. Lower it. Lower it. Take it off. Let's see. How many people know their country's budget on military spending, and how many people they have? Hey, you guys are sharp. Woo. That's fantastic. A few. That's very good. Galaxy, Brian. That's very impressive. Okay. How many people know their country's biggest trading partners? Take it off, take it off. Yes, 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 yes. Impressive. How big is your country? That's nine. Yes. With the region, of course, yeah, you might know that. Now, how many people know their country's neighbors? All of them, they know. Yeah, this is the good thing. This is the southern region of Africa. So how many of you know their capital cities? Okay. And how many people know their ethnic composition? Like, you know, all of the ethnic small groups, blah, blah, blah. If you're Shona, you know the Shonas, Ndebele, Zulu, etc. Of course, these are political governments. Of course, you guys know how many, when the countries are founded. I think if you're at university and you don't know that, that can be an emergency case. You need to see a doctor. I assume you guys know that. So why is this exercise? You say why? So a lot of people know about the economy. The only thing they know about the economy is the currency. Because they use the money every day, so you can't avoid that. But we need to know our country's policies on everything here, like this. So representing your country gives you an opportunity to dive deep to your country's policies, economy. You know, who are your country's trading partners? What is your government's policy on the youth? Because a lot of people complain, oh, African governments don't have policies written, don't have blah, blah, etc., etc. But those policies are written. Do you know them? You know, it doesn't matter, because putting them in practice or implementing them, it's a whole different topic. But do you know your country's policy on education, your country's policy on agriculture, your country's policy on youth engagement, your country's policy on military and politics and international affairs? Do you know your your country's foreign policy on certain things like economy, diplomacy, etc.? Do you know your biggest spending as a country? Do you know your deficits, budget as a country? Because the game changer in economy is that exports and imports. So do you see, the reason you see why many of our countries, Africa, are not well developed is because their imports have exceeded exports. We are always in a deficit. So how do we define that? So how do we increase value addition, cut down the imports and increase exports? Because that's where the game is. So Model United Nations, ladies and gentlemen, will give you an opportunity. Don't worry if you didn't know about this. No, don't worry about that. And don't judge yourself. It's okay. The good news that you are here, you're going to learn this. And it's not only your country. The beauty of it, it's not only your country you learn about, but you learn about South Africa, you learn about Botswana, you learn about other countries. So it gives you an opportunity as a young person at university to understand global affairs at the word go. So when you are placed in the position where you're going to practice this, you're already informed. There is a cliche, sounds like a cliche that information is power. I don't agree with that. Knowing the right information is power. You can know information that's not right. That's not power. So knowing the right information in your country, what others, neighbors, how you trade, how culturally you are integrated, like Southern Africa, because diplomacy on culture, and you learn more about culture diplomacy. Why people fight, why people go hate each other, it's because of ignorance, most of it. There are stereotypes. You say, hey, when you're in South Africa, this tribe is hostile. Don't you know that in your countries? Or, like, oh, when you go to Botswana, people maybe are hostile. Oh, people are too nice. Oh, people are too. So there is those grand stereotypes that are really not true. But if you know your neighbor's culture, you know how to handle it. I will tell you why. If you know how to greet in someone's language, you draw more attention. Even before you dive into a deeper conversation, you have already created a rapport. It's like, oh, this person is good, So I'll tell you a story. One time I was in Scandinavia. In Scandinavia, people speak their local languages. Like in Norway, they speak their Norwegian languages. But look, I was in a train, and this guy was from Canada, who was speaking English. You know what? I'm not English at all, nor do I aspire to be English. Because the guy spoke a language at least I know, while everyone was speaking their local language, we bonded like crazy, So that cultural aspect that comes. Now imagine if I had met a person who speaks my local language. You can imagine that. So knowing people's cultures, languages, and everything helps you bond, helps you create away those biases. You wash away those biases. And that's the point of MUN. So you learn about countries' policy, you learn about countries' future, you learn about countries' culture, you learn about your other countries' problems and solutions and what have you, etc. And if you measure in these things globally, if you know culture, if you know economy, if you know government and policies, physical futures, now who are countries' neighbors and etc., you've already mastered half of the way. So it's very important. I wanted to point out that, and these things will train. Don't worry about these things. Researching. How many of you write essays at school? I guess so. All of you guys. So the importance of research. But how do you research? Very key. Yes, Watson. So background. How do you point out systematic research? position papers, we train about that. Then public speaking. Not everyone who's just speaking is doing public. Anyone can speak. If you have a mouth and you can speak, but how do you speak with difference? That's the point. How do you point out you? And it's not a matter of speaking, but how do you drive your point home? How do you convince? How do you articulate? How do you use logic in public speaking? We'll learn all about that and we'll train this. So I just wanted to point out what MUN is. So when I came, I'll give you how I got to know MUN. When I came to Canada for school, that was 2017, I joined a club at my University of Toronto too, the MUN club. And for the 4 years, I was heavily involved, heavily in the, at the forefront organizing MUN. And this is what I experienced. I saw kids, I call them kids because they're high school kids. I saw high school students being better than university students. Now, I compared the two worlds. Where back home, a university student doesn't know how to even write a position paper, doesn't know the persuasive skills, tactics, strategies. Now, I looked at the young people. These guys are way big. They are far they know well to research. They know how to write. They know how to speak. They know the professional of connectivity. So this is very, 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 very key as young people we are going to and unleash this and as future leaders. So I looked also at the diplomats, our African diplomats. So this guy, imagine this guy since high school has been practicing diplomacy, knows about, is well knowledgeable about global issues. Now, this is a minister. This is a minister who has who started knowing global diplomacy, maybe watching television, who learned about public speaking when they're very old. So, how do you bring that guy and sit on the table of conversation on a global matters, concerning global matters, and you expect this guy to win? Never. And you can see the confidence, the level of articulation in the United Nations. Now, I've had the privilege to attend United Nations sessions, meetings, and committees. But you see African diplomats not very confident, not very vocal, but also not persuasive. Because they have learned, I can't blame them. They have learned these things when they are in their 40s, when they are in their 50s. Maybe it's known to the president, they have appointed them. But these guys have no prior knowledge. Now, to avoid that deficit in the future, we go and train our young people these things when they're still young. So that when you go through university, you know that you might be placed in a bigger position of leadership. And this is what you can do. And that one will eliminate future things. No wonder why we are not heard at international level. It's because people who represent us, they're not that competent to articulate our issues at international level. So when you meet European diplomats, there is even that alpha male, thing, like, oh, this guy's underground. It's not a big deal. But the level of confidence we want to create, confidence doesn't come just like that. Knowledge creates confidence. So the more you are knowledgeable about a certain topic, the more you are more confident. So it's not about, I must go in, these motivational speakers. Hey, look at yourself in the mirror every morning and tell yourself you are important, you are confident. No, that's illusion. How you create confidence is being knowledgeable. When you are an expert in a certain field, you are confident. No one can beat you up. Even if they wake you up in the time of the day, you're very confident. So confidence is a result of knowledge. And the knowledge creates that, knowledge creates the urge to do more, to learn more, to teach more, to bring all things. So the better. So I always ask people, or young people we mentor, do you want an Africa that in 10 years from now, we still complain of people who can't represent at international level? If you want to complain, what are you doing right now? If you want to be a prime minister of your country, if you want to be an MP of your country, if you want to be a president and hit hard, are you prepared to do that? Or you're just going to join the rat race? Okay, go contest, be an MP, just drive a big car that is on loan, and after that, people fear you. The village you come from, you say, hey, he's the prime minister, So we need to get away with that. That's old age. That's past us. We need to rebuild people that are very, one, confident, one, knowledgeable, but also with a purpose to serve, with a purpose to defy mediocrity, with a purpose to create a new change. Every day we on an international scale, we are called the poorest continent. We are wars. It's like we are nursery bed of wars and every negative thing. Aren't you tired of that? So how do you get tired of that? It's creating a new mindset and purpose. So that's the reason why you guys should take this serious. If you are serious and you want to create a purpose and you want to be in public life, you want to be a leader, please do that. But if you're passing by, if you're passing by, maybe something sounded good and you can't, I advise, this is just orientation. You can go your way for sure. But I am convinced, beyond reasonable doubt, that everyone here wants to have a change. Change is not a wish, it is done, it's action. So let's do that. I'll stop there for a moment and go to the nitty-gritty now. That was telling you about the importance of MUN. The importance. I was a student. I finished school in 2020. Yes, that's 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, 2020. Yes. But I had all the privileges because of the knowledge and that I acquired in MU and the network. I've had the privilege that maybe would take a lifetime to get into. Sitting in high diplomatic places, but that's for me, that's not important. The importance of it all, I saw a big deficit in our African governance system because it exposed me. The people you guys fear or we fear, when you test their knowledge, man, they are so far behind. So it exposed, and that's why I was motivated to start African Rebirth. In 2021, that's where we started. So ladies and gentlemen, these are things that we want to do. And if you're partners like now, Let's do that, right? So how the program will run, and we take it some Q&A. The program will run this. The training, I am aware that you are students, so you have a lot to do. I was a student 2 years ago, so you have a lot to do. So the program always run in the weekends. So every weekend we'll have a session training, and we'll have what they call simulations. So practice. I will tell you the best way to learn MUN is practicing. So we'll be having breakout rooms. We'll be having breakout rooms, different committees. You guys chose UN Security Council, UN General Assembly, ECOSOC. So we'll have those 3 committees. People are still interested, and we train them and go into practice simulations. Second, we consider, because we are here like not really past time, we are here for a purpose. So we are high on time management and commitment. So please, commitment is key, because the biggest thing I have seen is it's not because people don't have dreams or people don't have ambitions, it's people lack commitment. So discipline is key. If you're really into this, please commit to it, because we have a cutoff. If you miss 2 sessions without communicating, we'll discontinue with you from the meeting. So we are serious on commitment. Second, that's commitment. I want to let you know about that. And time. Time will always be 6 p.m. because we assume that it's an evening time. Maybe you've done your homework, maybe you are just catching up with other people enjoying life. Please, you can always come. So 6 p.m. sounds a fair time. Yes, it always be virtual. I saw some in the chat box. People are saying how to be practice. So it will be like it will always be virtual. So Zoom meetings. So Zoom meetings require internet. So we ask, find a quiet place, conducive to learn, that you can really plug in and learn. So that's, I think, the best things we can. I can tell you now. Other things will be communicating in the group, where we'll learn a lot of things. Second, since we're students, the student mentality is we always go extra way, So we'll be sending materials. I told you the best way to learn this is practice. We'll be sending materials for MUN, for the course. Please read, go watch, research, be like hungry for success. Research it. Research and research. Go for it. Go look at YouTube. There are many YouTube videos, for that. We'll also be sending materials. Go read it. So when we have a guy who's going to train, you're already equipped. You know the questions. So very, very. And the more you do research and practice, you will learn more better. So one last important thing. We want you guys to spearhead this in your schools. You're going to learn, but also you're going to give back. So that's very important. As you learn, let's do that, because we have more ambition to help more students create a better way. So that's very key. And I think I can stop there. And if you guys have a Q&A, we can go for a Q&A, can ask a question. We have here ambassadors, wonderful ambassadors, and they can also help to answer some questions. So thank you very much. Please go ahead, ask. No question? Oh, thank you. Okay. If my professor used to tell me that when you don't ask a question, you are either too confused or too convinced. So I don't know where you belong now. Are you too convinced or confused? Anyway, yes, Absalom.
Evening, sir.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
Hello, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. It's not really a question, but just in terms of acknowledgement, I'm pleased about this orientation. It was quite. You said key points that I actually noted down, and for that, I just feel like I should. You should be lauded for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So it's exactly, we don't want to take much of your time. I believe for the few words we spoke, they're enough. And we are ready to start. Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited to learn? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Very good.
Same.
Yes, we are.
Then,
Yes, we are
then
excited.
let's hit the road high.
Yes.
Very excited.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As for me, but before we go, I want you to join hands and thank our ambassador for doing a great job for you guys to, to interview you, get connect with you. Please join me and we thank them. So whoever, an ambassador here, please. Oh, I can see Cora from Namibia. Please thank him so much. I can see Sandra, definitely she introduced herself from Malawi, Zimbabwe, Maya, Shanda. Please, you can mute your thing. Yeah, so thank them so much. We appreciate your leadership, and I'm very convinced beyond reasonable doubt that you chose the best people. And I can see the spirit, they're engaging. So that's very good. So thank you very much. And without further ado, I hand over the mic to Sandra, our moderator. But thank you very much. We'll keep in touch and everything will be communicated very soon. Sandra?
Yes, I am here.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much for the insightful speech. I believe everybody understood clearly. And if there are more questions, and maybe some of you are still shy, you can ask your ambassadors or on the group. But what we really want, what we expect from everybody is that you're all engaged, you're fully committed. That is all that we hope. And I can see the spirit, you guys have the energy, and that's great. So show up on time, attend all the meetings, and we're looking forward to a great 6 weeks of training. All right, thank you. I think that is it. Yeah.
Great. In Swahili saying kwenda kulala. So I don't know the language you guys can use.